I completely messed it up. Valentina Shevchenko defends against Jessica Ai at UFC 238. You also have Tatiana Suarez, Nina Ansaroff, Joanne Calderwood, Caitlin Chikagian. This is title fight, title eliminator, and insurance fight, and then insurance for that insurance. Smart move. They should do it more. I like it. What do you think of these 3 fights?
Well, it's clear. The matchmaking team every so often takes that rocket science pill, right? And like, oh, why don't we put together cards that showcase more than one fight in a division? Let's have more. Let's have a bunch of them so we have insurance. This goes way back to when they did it in the welterweight division back in the day in Montreal with the likes of Carlos Condit, George St. Pierre. I think Diaz was on the card. It was backup after backup after backup. If anything happened leading up to the event, they could move guys around or girls because they were actually training for fights that evening. It should do this every single time. Now, I had a PowerPoint presentation that I once presented to Sportsnet back in the day when there was the Score Fighting series and how to change it up and blah, blah. And they were blown away by it. And they wanted a copy of it. And I said, no, non-disclosure agreement, sign here. I own the rights to this. And it basically, I can't give it all away, but in essence, it was showcasing weight classes per event. 2 to 3 weight classes maximum per event every 6 weeks. It just makes sense, right? It just makes sense instead of again, goes back to the whole conversation. There's too many fighters on this damn roster, and we don't know who's fighting who anymore and what relevance they have. These fights make sense. You keep doing stuff like this, fans will continue to tune in because they mean something.
They had that UFC heavyweights card that was a major success. Yeah. Stephen Struve and LeVar Johnson. I remember that armbar. Yeah. The Roy Nelson knockout, the Cain Velasquez drubbing. You even had Miocic beat Shane Del Rosario, God rest his soul. But Junior Dos Santos and Mir, sometimes it just works. And I think this is a good move on their part. Do you think it's a good move for Anthony Smith to get back in the cage so soon? He's fighting Alexander Gustafsson at Fight Night Stockholm, according to Brett Okamoto. That is June 1st, so he has about 3 months, a solid 3 months. Considering Anthony Smith's trajectory, I think this is in key with his career. And if you might as well take that fight with Gustafsson early. That way, when Gustafsson pulls out, you have time for a replacement to step in.
Okay. To answer the question, is it, should he be fighting? Is it good for him to be fighting after coming off that loss to John Jones? And normally I would say no, because, he got beat, right? Provided he's medically cleared to fight, then my answer is yes, because it does offer him the opportunity to put in a training camp, recover a little bit, right? I think you need, for your first 3 days in general, Faraz Zahabi and I used to talk about this all the time. Your first 2 or 3 days is just to reset your electrical system in your body, right? Just shut it down. If you got to go on vacation, do nothing, right? But just do that. And then work your way back into training and then get into your training camp. I think it's fantastic for Anthony Smith if all these perfect pieces fall into place. So I got no problem with that. And taking on a guy like Alexander Gustafsson, you get 2 guys in there, although we can say what we want about Alexander Gustafsson. We really never know. But he's going to want to get a win, obviously. Get back on that winning track, and Anthony Smith just doesn't feel like he fought properly because John shut him down, and John did shut him down in that title fight. So he wants to stay relevant. He doesn't want people to remember him for that performance, and get her done.
Yeah,